is Life's a Pitch TV. Main sponsor, DPS Tech. Also supported by Lakens, all about hearing. GBS Builders, Seckford Golf Club, Ashford Wright, John Keeble Cars, Venue 60, The Hudson Group, Sound 4 Pro Audio, Come Hither Design, and Suffolk Sound. Charities this year: Cancer Support Suffolk, Forget Me Not Golf, and Back to Coffee. I know we won 5-0. Come on, I know we won 5-0. Come on, it was bigger than that, wasn't it? Oh, fantastic. In fine voice, welcome to this week's edition of Life's a Pitch TV. We are in the DPS Tech Arena. I'm your host, Mark Murphy. Let me introduce to the team, Terry Butcher, Russell Osman, and in the Sound 4 Production Audio Suite, Sound 4 Pro Audio Production Suite, what a mouthful, it's Richard Garrett. And our floor managers are Leslie Dolphin and Sarah Jane. Welcome, capacity crowd. Good to see you in fine voice, left over from Friday night. Marvellous. We've got the Churchman Stand, as always, sponsored by John Keeble Cars. And the North Stand, sponsored by Ashford Wright. We need a special guest, and this week he's been recently inducted into the ITFC Hall of Fame. It's Mark Venus! Mark Venus making his Life's a Pitch TV debut. Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention about Brannigan's until much later in the show, so you'll be fine about that. How did it feel being inducted into the Hall of Fame?
No, it was wonderful, a great honour. Ipswich have had some incredible footballers on a professional front, and to stand alongside them and be up there with them was incredible, really. I'm really honoured, to be honest.
It was a great night. We were all there, weren't we, watching it happen this year? It was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yep. It's always a good night. It's always good fun down there. It's nice to see the fellow teammates and past and present and current players and people associated with the club down there. It's great, you know, and it's... who interviewed you on the night?
Simon Milton.
Simon Milton
interviewed me, yeah.
You got away with it then, because the year before... Terry was interviewing one or two people.
Terry did interview Bam Bam, I think, did you?
Yeah, it was very good.
Tried to.
Yeah, no, he was very good. All the people that came in, yourself included, were very, very good, very fluent, very confident. But you're good players, and you're used to the media, and it was a really nice thing. That's one of the nicest things to induct fellow pros that have played for Ipswich, because they've served the club well, and it's an absolute pleasure. But I have had my time as a sort of presenter, interviewer, where I couldn't get anything from two players. I think one was David Linnigan, the other was Gavin Johnson, and they were absolutely.
You got a tear.
I got a tear. He couldn't speak because he was crying all the time, and it was, oh my God. And then we had.
He was frightened of you, Butch.
Well, he probably was, yeah.
David's from Hartlepool as well as me, so
yeah.
Hopefully I'm not going to be like David.
I don't think you're from Hartlepool, because he's miserable as anything.
He was, wasn't he?
Well, yes, no, that's fine. Right, that was it.
Yeah.
I used up my 6 questions that I had in about a minute.
Oh God.
Yeah, but we got through it in the end. Thankfully, someone dragged him off the stage, so that was quite good.
It was quite funny, though, wasn't it?
It was a good laugh. We've got a lot to get through tonight, and Mark, we'll talk about your time at Town and what you've been up to since. But we had a win on Friday. It's been a long time coming. And what a win it was as well. And I thought was really nice with some of the players who've been getting some stick recently. Phila, Jean, Clark and Hurst answered their critics. Let's have a look, courtesy of our friends at Town TV.
Championship football is back with a bang as Ipswich Town host Sheffield United under the Friday night lights at Portman Road. It's misjudged by Mark McGuinness. Here is Akpom, Philogene, end-to-end stuff already. We've only been playing a minute. Here is Philogene approaching the penalty area now, into the box, onto his right foot, gets the shot away, but he's under pressure and he was just slipping and sliding. Turns on the ball away from Peck, gives it back to Davis. Can Davis deliver in? Yes, he can. Left it towards Hurst and all the way through. Hurst missed it. Akpom got a touch on it, but it was bouncing over him. Now Philogene onto his left foot, saved by Cooper. Ipswich Town, Sheffield United. That was a loose ball from McAteer, and Ipswich might profit from it. It runs through to Jayden Philogene rather fortuitously. Philogene into the penalty area and into the back of the net. Jayden Philogene, who has looked lively during the opening stages of this one, finds the bottom corner brilliantly. Portman Road lights up. Ipswich 1, Sheffield United 0. But he took that goal wonderfully well, Jayden Philogene. And now Davis again looking to maraud forward down the left side, up against Ben Godfrey. Davis continuing, delivering. Tanganga missed it. And it might run through for McAteer. McAteer just held off that by Alex Matos. And here's Saidi Peck ahead of Kayuse. Callum O'Hare 25 yards out. It's a low effort.
Yeah, they were just waiting for Matt Seward to come back onto the pitch to get full strength, and now they're getting after it again.
Here is Akpom. Hurst to Jayden Philogene. Philogene with a chance to run at Godfrey once more, approaching the penalty area, cutting inside. He's got Hurst with him. It's Philogene! Brilliant! Absolutely brilliant from Jayden Philogene, who is starting to line up Portman Road, as was hoped when he was signed from Aston Villa. He had Hurst as an option, but he went all the way himself, cutting in field, and he leathered that beyond Michael Cooper. Ipswich Town 2, Sheffield United 0. Jayden Philogene with both the goals. Akpom loses out to Peck in midfield. Here is Saidi Peck approaching the Ipswich penalty area, and then the shot comes in from Tom Cannon. Palmer has to make a smart save at his near post, but it's a save he would have expected to make all day long. Currently 25 games without a clean sheet in all competitions. The last clean sheet coming in January against Bristol Rovers in the FA Cup. As this might run through to George Hurst, and Hurst is around Cooper inside the box, forced wide, and it's through the legs. It's through the legs of Cooper and in. It is calamitous for Sheffield United. It was a loose touch from, I think it might have been Harrison Burrows. There was no real danger. A loose touch run through to George Hurst. Hurst beat Cooper to it, was forced wide. The shot from the angle should have been comfortably saved by Cooper, but it's through him and in, and George Hurst has his second championship goal of the season. A nightmare for the Blades, but it's wonderful for Ipswich Town, a commanding position. Tanganga almost caught in possession by George Hurst deep inside his own half. Cooper goes long. And now Jacob Greaves finds himself high up the pitch into George Hurst. Hurst in the penalty area, makes it 4! But the flag has gone up, so it won't count. He hasn't made it 4. Can't quite slide that through to George Hurst, who was waiting for it just on the edge of the Sheffield United penalty area. Here's Philogene again. Jayden Philogene on his left foot this time! Hat-trick! Hat-trick for Jayden Philogene! And what a hat-trick that is! The roof has come off Portman Road. Right foot bang, left foot bang into the back of the net. Jayden Philogene will be taking home the match ball. Samare challenged by Matasiwa again, and Waller Egley fancies it on his debut from range from 35 yards. And Clark in the box now, and Clark makes it 5! The left side has looked so dangerous from Ipswich tonight. And 4 goals of Ipswich Town's 5 have come from their left wingers. McGuinness. Portman Road in fine voice, and it's been given away by Sheffield United, and it's Clark into Schmodix. Schmodix denied by Cooper.
5-0 up and everyone having a laugh.
And that is that. What a night for Ipswich Town. What a way to start the weekend.
Courtesy of our friends at Town TV. I think that deserves a round of applause.
Mark, I think when Kieran approached the manager, I think he's saying to him, I think you're getting sacked in the morning. You know that? Do you realise that?
The look on his
right,
face, though,
he?
at the end of the game, he was just wide-eyed, wasn't he? He knew that this was probably the end of Sheffield United manager. Yeah.
5 straight losses. I don't think many people expected him to survive another one, but they've made a change, and let's hope it works out for them.
Yeah, they're a big club, aren't they? Deserve to do well.
They are a big club. It was a good night. Great atmosphere down there. It was exciting. We're quite positive. I watched the game. I was down there, and I even met Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on the night. And he's a nice fellow he is as well. So
Is he big or is he small? Because he looks small to me.
No, he's
Bigger than you think, isn't he?
He's
6 foot plus. 6 foot.
No, he's only about.
I think it's about 6
It's
foot.
only about my size. Yeah, he's only about like 5'11". He's not.
Does he still
Felt
look
like
12?
he's bigger than you think.
But he's
he still
probably
look
bigger
12?
than
Felt
you
massive
think.
to me when he scored a couple against us, to be honest.
But lovely guy,
Yeah.
brilliant fella. Yeah.
What did you make of it? Because what I was pleased for was that Hurst, Clark and Philogene, who've come in for some stick, answered their critics, didn't they?
They did. Good finishes from Philogene. I bet he'd love to play against Ben Godfrey week in, week out.
How
if
bad
he
is
could.
he? Well, we saw that last season, didn't we?
Okay. Yeah, he managed to close him down once, but still about 20 yards away.
I think that was in the tunnel, to be
Yeah, I
honest.
think it must have been. Listen, they're having a bad time, Sheffield United, and we sort of rubbed their noses in it a little bit. We played well. You can only play against your opposition on the night, and we dominated the game throughout, so no problem. We got 5.
Butch?
Yeah, it was like I said to you before the show that it was like, can we play you every week? That'd be fantastic. I mean, you look at them, 96 points they got last year, obviously with a different manager. 1 or 2 people have left and 1 or 2 have come in, and their form of recruiting was much in question, I think, over the summer. But you can only beat what's in front of you, and it was just lovely for Town, because the way Sheffield United defended and the way that their body language and everything else, and it looked like their attitude and all that sort of thing, you sort of think, well, these just ready for the knife, really, just to really give it everything you can, and they did, and it was just wonderful entertainment. Could have been a lot more than 5, to be honest. And we're really pleased with the 3 players. I mean, you need the whole strike force to chip in with goals. We scored a lot of goals 2 years ago, so we've got to score a lot of goals to get into that position again. So
I'll tell you who else impressed me on the night, taken away from the goal scorers. Donnell Furlong. What a good game he had. I know he wasn't under a lot of pressure there, but he just did the job as a fullback. Just, no airs, no
Can
graces.
I throw another one in as well, who I thought had a good game? Bit of swagger back about him, Leif Davis.
Yeah. Well, when the system they played, it was obviously with the wing backs. Philogene and Davis were sometimes up against the one defender. So it was the way that they played their system. It was just wide open, and it didn't seem that anybody really wanted to cover somebody else. So their attitude for me was poor. So if you've got someone like that, you've got to put them to the sword. We certainly did that, but Mutasiwa, I thought in midfield was very strong in midfield. And the difference between Birmingham and Derby against us is that Birmingham and Derby fancied the physical scrap. They had a right go and wound our players up and did all the professional dirty tricks and all that sort of thing that you can do. And it upset our rhythm. We never really got going in terms of the possession that we had on Friday night. So, teams, Sheffield United didn't really lay a finger on us, did they? They weren't physical.
It's funny you say that, because Roy Keane did an interview the other day after the Man United-Man City derby. Man City come out 3-0 winners, but Roy Keane has gone, there's not 1 yellow card in the game. How can that be a Manchester derby? Where's your passion? Where's your fight? Where's people going out there and fighting for, the red shirt of Manchester United? Not one booking. As he says, it's raining. It's perfect for scrap and people to get involved and stuff like that. Not 1 yellow card in the game.
Interesting, isn't it?
It is interesting.
What did you make of it, Vino?
No, I think I think obviously Sheffield, I think getting beaten in the playoff final and losing all of their star players, the midfielder Vinny Souza, the big centre-back Hadamovic, the manager, big personalities, I think they're still suffering a hangover, to be honest. They changed the coach, they've signed different players, and I think you've seen that from it. It looks like the stuffing's been knocked out of them and they can't pick themselves. No one can pick them up. But for Ipswich, I think it was an important game, an important win as well, because the longer you go on and you can't get started in the season, you're always chasing your tail a little bit. And I think it should give them a lot of confidence and, give the players who scored a lot of confidence. And for me, they've got the best squad in the league, to be honest. The 20 players, I can't see a better 20 players. So I feel very positive about this season, even after a slow start, really.
It's a league you know very well, isn't it? The team's in there. So you think Town have got a good chance?
Yeah, I think they've got an outstanding chance, to be honest. I think lots of clubs come down and they sell a player or two and don't invest in the team. Well, you can't say that about, the owners of this football club. They're definitely backing the coach and whoever, So I think they've got the managers in place. He's proved he can do it before, and I think once the players settle in, they're talented enough, hopefully, to get the job done.
Well, it was interesting to see the 5 goals. As we said, Sheffield United, Russ, were poor. Defending was poor, but as you said, you've still got to get the ball in the back of the net, haven't you?
Yeah, good clean finishes from Philogene in particular. I thought his third goal,
stunning, wasn't it?
His left footer was very sharp. Really crisp finish. But that's. I think that's come off the back of getting the 2 earlier goals. He's full of confidence and the ball's just sat nicely for him and he's just, put his laces through it and, beautiful.
The angle butch of Hurst's goal, the way. Do you think that keeper will be working on how not to be nutmegged?
We should do. Yeah, it was a great piece of improvisation, really, because obviously we went a little bit wide. Everybody expected him to pick somebody out in the box. I don't necessarily think he meant to put it through his legs, but it was on target, and it's probably the best place that he could have put it. And obviously the male model, Jack Clark, got into the box and didn't ruffle his hair or his shorts or anything else, looked pristine and put it through the legs again. I think you said there was 3 nutmegs on the goalkeepers in the game.
I don't know whether it was 3 or 2, but the game ran for us and, good.
Yeah, and it's good to see them getting on the score sheet. And what was also nice to see was an appearance from Nunes, of course, with the local derby coming up very soon. Do you remember your derby days? Do you have many of those?
I do remember them, yeah. They were pretty intense fixtures, really competitive. I don't want to talk about. I can't remember winning many games against Norwich, to be honest. That's
booing Norwich, not you, by the way.
We were, but we ended up getting promotion anyway, so we were the ones up there.
It's hard, but you sign somebody from that mob up the road, and they come into the dressing room, and I would find it hard. I'd have to have a little word with him before and just say, by the way, if you don't produce fantastic performances every game, I'm going to smack you. I really am. I mean, he's got to impress the players, which he has to do first, impress the players, and then obviously impress the crowd. So he's got a big job on his hands. I thought he's bigger than what he was. He didn't look particularly big. I don't ever think about being big or anything else like that, but I just thought, well, and you've got to assert yourself. But that midfield on Friday was very good, so he's got a job to get in there.
And of course, Fino, when you were playing, you had Andy Marshall, who came down from that lot up the road.
Yeah, Andy Marshall came on a free transfer, I think, and he was a great guy. It didn't really work out for him, I don't think, in his performance levels or whatever. But I think it actually shows where Ipswich are now in relation to Norwich, that they can go and take, i.e. their star player, and pay 10 million quid for him. And in my time, that never happened. We were always the poor relations financially, to be honest. So it's good, and I let's hope he does the business and he proves a major signing.
Well, make it a little bit spicier, won't it? Even if it's not spicy enough already.
Yeah, they're coming up soon as well.
Yeah,
pretty soon.
Yeah,
look forward to that.
Yeah. We've got Captain Canary coming the week before, ready to give us the Norwich point of view.
Good.
That was worth a boo, wasn't it? Come on. Goodness sakes, pantomime season.
You've got to
but yeah, that'll be it before we know it.
blow your canary up for him, yeah.
It's punctured from the other season. It won't go anymore.
Oh, what a
Big hole in
shame.
it.
What a
Yeah,
shame.
Cigarette burn, I think, somewhere. Somewhere in there.
Bullet hole.
But yeah, good performance. Fantastic to see. And, the crowd going away happy, which is what we've wanted. It's been such a long time, hasn't it, since we've been able to feel that kind of joy, really, at Portman Road.
First time they've kept a clean sheet. Oh, Palmer's kept a clean sheet. So his first clean sheet. First time we've kept a clean sheet for a long time.
What do you make of our signings, Vino?
Listen, they've talented players. They've invested a lot of money in them. They've still got to prove themselves week in and week out in the league. I find when you play for a team in a league that has to win, sometimes you can play and you don't really have to win, and you're there out of false pretences. And before you know it, like Ipswich, when they got promoted a little bit, they weren't expected and they landed there. But from the start, now in this season, you have to go out and you have to win, and that's a lot harder mentally to go and force games and get over the line. So, listen, I think they're talented, undoubtedly. There's a lot of money being put into them. So hopefully, with the coaching and everything coming together, and they blend into the area as quickly and settle in, and the fans, I know, will make them feel welcome. So hopefully they'll produce.
I mean, you can get promotion by any means. All different kinds of ways of getting promotion. We had a blistering start to the season 2 years ago to get promotion, and from ever since the start of the season, everybody's then expecting the team to do well. I think people say, well, there's going to be a bubble's going to burst eventually, but it never did, thankfully. So, this is going to be much of an up and down season more than anything else. And there's many ways to skin a cat, is another phrase. So, if it's got to be like that, and we have to then really grind things out, and it's not going to be possibly as exciting, as long as you get the 3 points, as long as you keep clean sheets, you've got every chance then of gaining ground and moving up the table. It's more stealth now rather than being a sprinter. Usain Bolt.
And Vino, how would you assess the Championship this season as a league? Because
I think it's a competitive league, like it always is every year. I don't think there's one, two standout teams. I think the teams alongside Ipswich who've come down are as probably vulnerable and as weak as they've been for years, really. So I think Ipswich are the strongest team out the three that's come down. They're certainly the biggest traders, and they've invested in the team. So, look at Sheffield United, who got beat last year in the playoffs, and where they are now, they've sort of lost players. I think it's a first impression. I think it's an average league, and that's why I think Ipswich have got the firepower and the investment in the players and the manager to get promoted again. And
the more the team plays together, the more that obviously Kieran will rotate players sometimes, but the more that they all get to play and have game time on the pitch, the better the understanding will be, because as you say, we're blooding in new players. Not that the system's not changed from what we can see, but they've got new players in those positions, and it'll take time. And you look at Philogene, it's taken time to produce that.
Yeah.
We were thinking, well, what was all the fuss about with him, because he looks bang average, and yet he was sensational. I mean, you'd have thought that the Sheffield United defenders would have realised when he came inside the first twice and the goalkeeper saved it, that he would do the same again.
And there's a clue there somewhere, wouldn't there?
They must be thick as mince, those defenders, I tell you. If we defended like that, we'd be out the door.
Yeah.
If you were the assistant manager of Sheffield United that night, what would you have been saying to the defence?
Oh, listen, what can you do? You beat them up. I don't think you need to speak to them. I think they look beaten up in the night. They're hard jobs in football. When you're throwing everything at it and you're getting beaten up. So we haven't felt that a lot, but when it happens, it's terrible. So. Initially I think as you've got a bit older, I think initially when we were younger, the emotion would spill out. But as we've got a bit older, you have to just put it in the bin, and you have to go back and go over it and bring them in individually and go through it. Really, there has to be improvement on the back of that.
I think if I was assistant manager, the bin's not big enough for the back four. You need a bigger bin.
Yeah. But you look at some of the squads. Yeah, we've spent a lot of money on our squad in the close season. But you look at the Leicester squad. I mean, the money that they're paying for some of the players that they've managed to keep, astronomical. You know, the weekly wage bill, I think, is over £1 million. You know, so they are paying a lot of money out to hold that squad together at the moment. You know, so you'd probably expect them to be thereabouts by the end of the season, but who knows?
We'll see.
And that's where we first met at Leicester City.
Yeah, you
just
played
a
together, didn't you?
coincidence.
Yeah.
You know, we had 3 years together.
Yeah, Russell was an England international, and I was coming from Hartlepool. Two complete ends of the spectrum for me. It was amazing to be on the same training ground as him and a few of the other guys. Incredible.
He did all my running for me in those days. Yeah. I could just stand there.
You had to
and
get him a
shoulder
cup of
bound.
tea after the match.
Yeah.
I remember.
Cup of tea.
Used to get a cup of tea. Russ used to get a cup of tea, a sweet cup of tea
Yeah.
after the match.
Three cup of tea. That a long time ago, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah.
Sure, it didn't have something else in it just to kind of.
No, well, I
Keep
don't
it
know
chill
at
out.
the time, but he might have had that in his little book or his little bag. But yeah,
Granny's nightclub or something like that, wasn't it?
Right, you've got a task to do now. It's time for this week's Player of the Week, sponsored by GBS Builders. Vino, shall we start with you? Who would you give Player of the Week to from that match?
well, I think if you score a hat-trick in any game, I think it would be pretty wrong of me to select anyone else. So I have to give it to Philogene, really, and I think he deserves it.
Okay, Russ?
Exactly the same. Yeah, he deserved it, and it'll do his confidence a world of good. World of good.
Terry?
Palmer, I thought he was outstanding. No, Philogene. Philogene.
Never
You could
put
put
for
Palmer's
wrong.
kit back in the kit room because it wasn't. There's not a bead of sweat on it.
His shirt wouldn't need washing, would it? Really,
No, it
not after
wouldn't, no.
that. I think we got a nice picture of Philogene at the final whistle, celebrating one of his goals. I think we can get that up on the screen, can we? There he is. Look, celebrating one of his goals. I mean, what a great night for him. Do you ever get a hat trick, Russ?
You're asking the wrong one here. Hat trick, mate. You're
No?
joking, aren't you?
Vino?
I think you've got a back three, yeah. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Well, you know, you never know.
I scored two against Swindon once when we beat them 5-something. I scored two penalties.
I found something out about you today.
Oh,
And-
God. It's not Brannigan's, is it?
No, not Brannigan's. It's about scoring, though.
Right.
So it's definitely not Brannigan's.
Right. Yeah, you're right. He's right there.
He's here all week, everybody.
So at Leicester, you scored one goal in 61 league appearances.
Blimey.
All right, so 1 in 61. You went to Wolves and played 287 games and scored 7 goals at Wolves. So I made that 1 in 41 games.
One a season.
You suddenly came down to Ipswich, 148 games, and scored 16 goals. So how did you go from being a 1 goal in 41 to a 1 in 9 man?
Brannigan's.
Brannigan's says it all, doesn't it?
I've got to give the George the credit for that, really. He put me on everything. Corners, set pieces, set me up for corners. Where the other clubs didn't take the set pieces, I was stood at the back.
You took free kicks then?
I took free kicks, yeah.
You weren't on them at
I was
Leicester, I
given
know that.
he used to push me forward as well, let me step into midfield and travel with the ball. And I think as I got older, I just expressed myself a bit more, and it's good. I was happy
It
with
is,
that.
yeah. That's not
And
bad.
it was
at all.
quite a
You've got
fearsome,
all the goals out of me. That was good.
quite a fearsome free kick of yours, wasn't it?
Fearsome free kick. Listen, I scored some nice goals. I was happy with them. They were good.
And we have a thing on the show about programme covers, which doesn't work very well for people listening on podcast or on Suffolk Sound, but I think we've got some programme covers of your time, Vino, that we can get up. There we go. In the old Green King shirt. Bring back memories?
When I came to the football club, we were a bit flat, to be honest. You know, I know we're getting full houses now, but the crowds were pretty low at the time, and we were searching a bit. And George,
I think some of us in the crowd here tonight were there during those
yeah,
times.
George
you
was
know.
having it hard.
10,000 people.
Where we ended up and where we got to with the squad and his trading and everything and the style of play was phenomenal, really, to be honest, as a coach myself. And, you know, looking back from the starting point to the end point, I know the final end point when we got relegated from the Premier League was probably the biggest disappointment in my career, I'd have to say, because we'd done so well the time before, and there's lots of different reasons and variations, but yeah, where we started and where we got to was incredible, really. We were a good team. To be honest, we should have been promoted a couple of years before. I felt like we were the best team in the league, and we ended up finished third and got beat in the playoffs and in some humdingers of games, really. We couldn't get through the playoffs for whatever reason. You know, and we did sell players. We sold Tarico. We sold players at big times in them seasons. And I think investing in Marcus Stewart at the time of that one, and instead of selling, was one of the major factors.
That was pivotal, wasn't it?
We got over the line, I think. Yeah, we showed some investment,
Yeah.
and I think this football club now at this time has shown investment too, and hopefully they'll get the rewards.
Well, if you look behind Terry's head, there's a flag there from Wembley 2000, signed by George Burley. On the wall there's a few other souvenirs around here from a certain match against Real Madrid and whatever. What was it like to finally get over the line and get to Wembley, let alone the final?
I think getting to Wembley was more nerve-wracking than not getting to, than getting beat. I think to envisage getting beat in the final, I just remember being so nervous and so uptight and feeling, God, the worry of, because of losing the playoffs before. I'd lost a couple of playoffs for Wolves as well, 3 playoffs as well, but never got to the final. I must hold the record of how many playoffs in the playoffs.
Why did he sign you then? Yeah.
Well, he knew he'd get the playoffs, didn't he? Where he was at the time. But no, I mean, and then obviously the relief of it, and I didn't understand the ecstasy of actually winning promotion. I didn't understand, because I probably hadn't tasted it enough, the actual, what it was like, and the euphoria of it and everything like that, really, and then the Premier League, that was it for me, pinch myself. And then obviously getting into Europe, and it just kept going and going and going, and to fall off the end of the cliff to get relegated really was...
Yeah, but that first season in the Premier League was stonking, wasn't it? You could have been a Champions League team, couldn't you?
Well, I think we should have been, if the truth be known at the time. I think we sort of blew it at the end of the season, which, teams do, I suppose. But we, it wasn't a fluke. You don't go for that many games and get that many points if it's not real. So we were a good team.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot about what went wrong. Do you think it was? It's often harder second time round in a top flight, isn't it? Plus, you'd got European football. Plus, there were some signings that we all know perhaps unsettled things a little bit. Was it a combination of things that just made it not work?
Yeah, listen, I'm 20 odd years further down the line, so I can probably express myself. I think there was a few reasons. I think getting the ground done, I don't think helped at all. I think losing a bit of atmosphere, losing the fans behind you in any team. I think for years, teams in small grounds like Southampton survived and did well off the stadia. I think you always judge the signings, whether you're a player, whether you're a fan. You always judge the signings, and I just thought we made too many signings, and I thought we made too many signings who hadn't tasted the league we were playing in. If we'd have finished 4th bottom or 5th bottom, I could have bought the restructuring, but we finished 5th top, and I felt we needed 3 or 4 bits of quality and to really help us again. Anyway, they're all my reasons, and obviously Europe, playing on a Thursday in Europe and then playing on a Sunday in the league was difficult, but obviously the whole squad, we probably weren't good enough, to be honest, to stay up, and that's what came out at the end.
Yeah, it's a bitter pill, isn't it, really, after such fantastic years previously?
Yeah, listen, I felt like the Premier League was us, and I felt like we could cope in the Premier League, and but I still live for them years, really. That year was amazing, and them 2 years.
Was
really.
that your best year in football?
Yeah, I think so. I think the pinnacle for me, for any footballer, is to be in the Premier League. You know, these guys played at the top a lot more than me, and obviously they became used to it, and you know that's where they played, but I didn't. I played one under a lot of the years, and I felt the Premier League, you know, at a bit younger, if they'd have thrown me into the right team, I could have got more appearances in that league.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, it was a shame because it was a wonderful period, wasn't it?
But at least we did it, you know. And,
no one can take that away.
Everyone was there, and we were there, and we were going,
Yep.
you know, full crowds. We were a good footballing team, and you know, we didn't block our way out in the league that year. You know, we played football, and we were the football team, really.
And if you look just behind Russell over there, we're all going on a European tour. I think that's got Bam Bam's signature on it somewhere. Real Madrid, must have been a fantastic trip.
Into Milan.
Sorry, into Milan. Yeah, sorry.
Milan. I wish
sorry.
it was Real Madrid
Sorry.
as well. Yeah, but
It's been a long week.
I was thinking
there
Real
as well.
Madrid,
So I ought to know.
I think it was talking to Terry when he was on Real Madrid. No, but
Yeah.
Inter Milan was, again, you know, we beat them at home in a wonderful evening, and we should have probably won by more than the one goal on the night. And then obviously we took an amazing amount of supporters to the San Siro.
10,000, wasn't it?
10, 12,000.
Anybody in the crowd go?
Yeah, brilliant. It was wonderful, and I just felt on the night it was probably a bit too much for us, and we were playing without confidence in the league. You know, we'd been knocked about a bit in the league. We were finding the league tough, and to go to the San Siro, you know, we needed to be right at it probably with confidence. But again, a wonderful experience.
Then you carried on the record of not having lost a European game at home as well. So you maintained it. What we would give now for European football would be unbelievable. That's another level. So you've got to get into the top flight and then maintain yourself like a lot of other clubs have done. And it's good to see the money going into getting players. Money is there. And it's not all about the money, it's about the coaching and about the understanding and everything else, and it's about personalities, etc. But you know, you've got to aim for that. You know, we all think, well, why not go for that? But first steps first, you know, get this promotion. And even though we've had a bit of a difficult start in many respects, brought upon ourselves by our own actions, it's still very much achievable. And then you can look at that and just say, right, you know, what do we need? And I think it's still an attraction to players to come here. We pay good wages, but the crowd and everything else, the actual match day experience is phenomenal.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
Yeah, I mean, we'd all want to see them back, without a doubt.
We do. Vino, can I ask you about Mogga? You have a great relationship with him, manager, assistant manager. How did that come about?
It came about here. When I came here, Tony was here, and it wasn't a sort of, I think we're different animals as far as socialising goes. I think everybody knows that.
He didn't go to Brannigan's then?
No, he didn't. He's teetotal. And, you know, I think it was just on a purely football front. I think, I hope we I must have stimulated his footballing beliefs or whatever, and he asked me to go with him, and not for 1 minute did I envisage that we would have gone on the journey that we've gone on, really. 20 years, and you know, we've been around some good football clubs, some big football clubs. We haven't had much money, to be honest, if the truth be known. You know, we haven't had lots of investments. We've had to build our teams, and I think we've had an identity with the style of play that we play, sometimes to our detriment, but it's got us where we've been, and yeah, I feel proud. I feel proud to be that he's kept me with him, and we've worked together, and obviously his health's good now. I seen him 3 weeks ago, and he looks back to himself, which is brill. And you know, that was a shock to everybody. So now he's back, and I'm sure he'll want another go at it.
But when you don't have all that money to spend, Mark, it's a credit to you that, you know, you've been successful through being able to coach and get the best out of the players that you could afford to have in your squads. And I think that point gets missed a lot when people do invest a lot of money and they bring the players in and they just play them. I think when you haven't got the money, you've got to get the best out of what you've got. And that means you, as a coach, have got to work hard and impart your knowledge and help the kids find their best form and get the full potential out of those players.
What do you do now? Like with the coaching side, I mean, when I was a coach and a manager, I used to give them rollicans and be in their faces and all that sort of. You can't do that now. What do you do when someone does something wrong? What do you say?
I think I was talking to someone actually the other day about this. I think in the modern world you have to try and get them to accept or understand something that they're not doing very well, rather than you enforce it on them. I think if you ask them, say, Terry, you know what, I think you may be losing a few headers in the box, and you might say to me, I agree, Mark, and all of a sudden we've sit and watch it and try and improve you. Do you know what I mean? I think we go around it in a different way than in the olden days, you know.
Why not just say, pull your effing finger out and get on with it? Why not just say that? You cut all the crap, get on with it.
I think in the modern game as well, you know, the footballers have a lot of different avenues to run away from. I think when we played, the manager was the manager and you could only go to the manager, but now, you know, they have sporting directors, they have owners, there's different agents, there's different avenues where they can go and offload against, he's no good, or it's his fault, or he keeps shouting at me, or do you know what I mean? And you can fight it, but if you fight it and you're not winning, you're losing. Yeah. You're finished.
Can I just ask you, we're going to move on with some other things in a moment or two, but was there ever a time when Ipswich Town was a possibility for you and Mogger? Was there a time, or did it just not
I think there might have been. I think Tony did speak to Marcus Evans at one point, and I think we just left Celtic, and there was a few contractual sort of obligations and things in it for Tony, and he decided not to sort of proceed with it, really.
I don't want to speak for the crowd here, but I think we would have all loved that, wouldn't we?
Yeah, no, I think we'd have loved it too, to be honest. I think it would have been just the pinnacle for me, like, and I'm sure Tony the same, to have played and to have, especially now with all the money going into it, you know, and you've got to.
It's not all about money, Mark. Get over it.
Listen,
just let it go. Let it go, mate.
I think the best part of our football team as well, and I've got to say this, was, you know, if you look at the squad, I seen a programme tonight from the guy who brought it in. If you go, there wasn't multi-million-pound footballers before. Obviously, Finidi was an expensive purchase, and Serini.
How old was he?
Well, I don't know how old he was, to be honest. You know, there was a variance on that. But
was that when you were playing the likes of Arsenal and they got Thierry Henry and Bergkamp,
Ashley Cole, Bergkamp, Vieira,
Van Bronckhorst, and all the others?
And then you looked at our squad, and you know, we got there like with players who either were young and coming through, Jamie Clapham from Tottenham, or Jim Magilton coming down from Sheffield Wednesday, or me, a 30-year-old from Wolves, you know, from nowhere. And George put us all together, and, you know, we fitted a style of play. We were footballers, really, and, you know, we got to where we got on that. And I think that's what we've done in our football clubs. We've looked at that and we've tried to play the same way and go out and sign players and put them together, like George did with us, really.
What do you think of this? I mean, this just briefly, the passing from the back and all that sort of thing.
I think this season more teams are booting it out, aren't they? Up there for a flick.
Because there's one-on-ones at the back.
I think it's too dangerous.
It is.
I think it's cosmetic. I've never seen many goals where they've passed the ball through the pitch and scored. I think if they're pushing on you, you should kick it long. If they're letting you play out, then you play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Simple.
Right. Before we move on, it's 7 years ago today. This is Tuesday we're recording this, if you're watching or listening. 7 years ago that we lost the Beat, who he is, Kevin Beattie. 7 years ago today we lost our lovely legend. And Paul, my former BBC Breakfast Show producer, is in the crowd tonight. We got the call on the Sunday that he'd passed away, and we had to produce a programme the next morning to pay tribute to the legend that he was. And I think you were both on that breakfast show that morning, and we spoke to everybody who just loved him. So I think we've got some pictures that we can show just of the Beat. There he is. What a perm for those listening on Suffolk Sound and Podcast. What a perm. What else can we find? There he is in his pomp. Early 80s that would have been, wouldn't it?
That's just after doing Escape to Victory when he had his haircut. When he was
must have been to look like Bobby Moore.
Michael Caine's
Michael
double.
Caine, yes. Yeah, that's it. What else can we find? There he is with a pile of money. That didn't stay there long. I can say that because he was a friend. And there he is towards the end of his life. And of course, he was our original legend in residence on Life's a Pitch. And I think, Butch, there you are with him and Phil Ham sitting in the BBC Radio Suffolk studio when you came in to join us one week.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to him a lot because of those green and yellow mics didn't really agree with me. That was a bad mistake, by the way. BBC Radio Suffolk in Ipswich.
Yeah, well, the editor was a Norwich fan. Peter Cook was his name, if you want to write to him. I'm sure you can find his email
Peter
address.
Crook?
If not, I'll pass it on.
Not Peter Crook, no, Peter Cook.
No, close. But he was just fantastic, wasn't he? So well done, Beat. And he's with us every week behind Beattie's bar. So you were aware of him, Vino, were you? You were aware of his sort of legendary status?
Yeah, and obviously when I came to the club, you know, Kevin was a larger-than-life personality, really, and he'd come around the training ground and, you know, I'd meet him in Brannigan's or whatever, you know, and catch up with him and have a pint of Guinness or two, you know, and, you know, he was a larger-than, you know, life person, wasn't he, you know, and what a footballer. We always joked that he could jump as high than a house, you know, to head it, and he was amazing.
There were other bars in Ipswich at that time as well, not just Braggers.
I do remember bumping into Marcus Stewart in there one night in Brannigan's.
Yeah, listen, I think at the time as well, you know, I think one of the best parts of it was that a lot of the guys moved to Ipswich. And we all seem to live in Ipswich, whereas now, you know, you've got players who live in wherever, Manchester or London, and come and stay in a little flat 2 or 3 nights a week. You know, we were in amongst the fans, and we were in amongst the people. And, you know, when you get beat, you feel their hurt and their emotion and everything. And I think it's better for a football club when the players are amongst the fans.
And who was the best one to go out for a drink with?
Me. No, you know, I think in them days drinking was a bit of a culture as well, you know. So we were all good guys, and
I think you'd have fitted in very well with these two.
Yeah, well, I went for a walk with these two for Marcus Stewart, and every stoppage we stopped and they got a beer.
Yeah, or 2. Yeah, we were late.
Happy days. We got there in the end. A little bit of a lift. Yeah. Anyway, it's time now for Terry Butcher's favourite bit of the show. It's Ask the Legends.
Here we go.
No, we don't have Simon or Tony here this week, so they have sent me the questions. And at the moment, the scores are Russell Osman 4, amazingly, Terry Butcher 6.
What do you mean amazingly?
Well, come on.
Thanks for that.
No, it's a pleasure. I'm just going back on past history last season.
Okay, right. Okay. Carry on.
So you go first, Butch, this week. Do you want to go home or away?
Away.
So potentially 2 points then if you get this right.
That's correct, Mark. Well done.
Right, okay. Well, I'm just saying that to remind myself, really, of the rules. Right, so are you going home or away, did you say?
Your memory is awful. Away.
Away. Okay. Darts.
Home.
So darts. On a dartboard, which number is diagonally opposite the 5 segment on a standard dartboard? So which number is diagonally opposite the 5 segment on a standard dartboard? Don't shoot the messenger. I didn't supply the question. So what would it be? You can help them, capacity crowd, if you think you know. They're all looking very blank at the moment. So
I would say 19.
Ooh, 17.
Hit the post. Hit the post.
17. Did we get it right over here, somebody? Yes. Yeah, Ray got it right over there.
The churchman's got it.
Should have shouted louder. My goodness me.
No. It's fair play.
Okay,
fair
so
play.
Russell, to pull one back.
Yes.
It's home for you, okay? So following the fantastic win last Friday against Sheffield United 5-0, Ipswich beat Norwich by the same score in 1998. Alex Matthey scored a hat-trick, but who scored the other 2 goals? Would you like me to give you
A clue.
a choice, multiple choice?
Yeah.
Was it David Johnson, Gus Ullenbeek, or was it Bobby Petter? I think Vino's helping out here.
Am I going to help him?
Of course you can.
You're allowed.
No. You can cajole, you can say, but you can't help.
Well, it wasn't the first one.
Who are you going to go for, Russ?
I'll go for the last one. Bobby
Who
Petter.
was?
Bobby Petter.
It was Gus. No, Bobby Petter.
I would have gone for that anyway, to be honest.
Pulling a point back. It's now
Yeah,
Terry
it was-
6, Russell
He was
5.
but you were under instruction because he said it wasn't the first one. So yeah. So there was instead of having 3,
I give him 2.
you give him 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How lovely to be able to see
But
that.
I'm not bitter. I'm going to carry on.
No, it's
carry
fine.
on.
Don't worry.
No,
You're still leading.
How lovely if we saw that again in a couple of weeks' time. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be lovely? Who knows? They'll be dragging out that, we haven't beat them for a million years and all that kind of crap, won't they? Right, time now for our new game, Life's a Pitch and Putt, sponsored by Seckford Golf Club.
On you go, son.
So, Vino, who is left-handed, and we do have... Yes, you have practiced. Unfortunately for Vino, while the cameras weren't running, he scored a magnificent 125 points.
That was on my left foot.
What will... with his left foot. What will the score be with his left-handed club? So, at the moment, top spot, David Sheepshanks, John Walk, who'd forgotten his glasses, and Russ, 75, who also had a pre-filming good outcome, didn't you, tonight?
Yes, I did, actually.
Yeah. Tommy Smith with a right-handed club, though he's left-handed, on 50. Milt's got 20. Mark Murphy, Jason Dazelle, Terry Butcher on 0. Yeah. So where on the board would you like to be, Vino?
I've got to be honest, everything I try to do, I want to be up there.
You want to be up there? Okay. Take your first shot. Here we go. Cheer him on, everybody.
Get in the hole.
Here we go. Shot number 1. Oh, not quite.
So unlucky.
You can tell from the R's from the crowd it didn't go in.
Oh.
Over 75, aren't I?
As you can probably hear, he's failed with the first 3.
None out of 3.
It's close. That's 75.
Joins
75.
the top of the table.
I'll go for a 10 now.
This Vino to get top of the leaderboard.
Big one, the 10, and I've got to go at the top.
Here he goes. Oh, that's a miss.
You
One
should have
more.
gone. Were you going for the 10 then?
Oh, no, I was going for the
Oh,
I was just gonna-
you're being greedy.
No, I wasn't going for it.
You're being greedy, weren't you?
He's going for a lower number now.
To go top.
It's not going to
No,
reach.
he's not going to get there.
Oh, give him a round of applause, everybody. It's not easy, as me and Terry Butcher will testify.
No, it's very difficult.
Very difficult. I'm sure they've widened the hole since we had a go. I think.
Well, yes, I think they've actually worn the ground, the pitch,
levelled out a little bit, really.
the green down, so it's
but
better.
yeah, well done. Equal top with David Sheepshanks, Johnny Walk, and Russell Osman. So
I
congratulations.
mean, good company.
Well done.
Good company.
Well done.
No good company.
It's time now for our On This Day in History.
Right, on this day in history, 15th of September. It's actually the 16th today, but I'm going to start on the 15th. Of course I want to. A crowd of over 60,000 paid record receipts of 700 million lira, which in those days was about £300,000, at Rome's Olympic Stadium as AC Roma, inspired by Brazilian Falcao, trounced the Blues 3-0. You remember that?
I remember
the
that
night
very
out?
well. Yeah, we had a great night out afterwards
Yeah.
because we had to
Yeah.
go over the way that we played and try and improve it a little bit
Yeah.
and drink as much as we could.
Yeah, take away the pain.
Which we did.
We had a
Yeah.
team meeting, didn't we?
We had a big team
An
meeting. yeah.
emergency team meeting. Right, on the 16th of September, 1972, Rod Belfitt scored a brace, and Jeff Hurst, England World Cup winning hero, was surprisingly sent off for dissent as Town beat Stoke 2-1 and went second in Division 1. Also on the 16th of September, this time in the year 2000, a superb 2-1 win at Leeds United saw Town continue their excellent start to the Premiership. James Scowcroft and Jermaine Wright got the goals. Did you play in that one?
No, I didn't play in that one. But I remember it going to the. That was probably one of the games that when we won, we all believed we could push on in the league and and hold our own at the start. Obviously, that was an amazing win because at the time they were spending and they were a big club, and that give us all a lot of belief.
Right, on the 17th of September, I'll tell you what an amazing win was. Town's first competitive game against Greek opposition saw them run out 5-1 victors against Aris Salonika. In an incident-packed UEFA Cup first-round clash in front of 20,824 fans, John Walk was star performer on the night with 4 goals, of which 3 were penalty kicks, awarded by Portuguese referee Antonio Garrido. He also awarded the incensed visitors a penalty which Paia converted before Paul Mander's 5 finish from a sweeping move completed the scoreline. The result ensured a comfortable cushion to take to an intimidating venue in Greece 2 weeks later. And it was intimidating, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, the referee was completely bent.
Yep.
And the crowd were very hostile. We got pelted with stones and everything. So
stoned the coach
apart from that,
afterwards.
it was a pretty tame match.
Yes, and that's all that happened on the 15th, 16th and 17th of September.
Fantastic. Adrian's brought a programme in. Season 75-76. Royal Antwerp FC. Monday, August 11th, 1975. And inside the programme, there's an advert in there for Croydon's. No longer with us, of course, the jewellers.
Mr. Noit.
Henley's Cars, no longer with us. What else can we find here? Grey Green Travel, I don't think they're going anymore, are they? Will Hire have gone. But I can see in here Barry Dye Entertainments. And he's still going. Evening,
Barry,
if you're watching. The best in entertainment, cabaret bands, groups, discos, and if a stripper was wanted, he could find you one.
Saw them in Brannigan's one night.
In Brannigan's. But what we have is new faces. Did this season mean anything to you, this one, Russell? 75?
It's when I joined the football
Correct.
club. Yeah.
There's a lovely picture here. You all look like the Bay City Rollers, actually.
Go on.
I don't think we've got that picture. We'll get it next
What a
week.
shame.
No, but we can get it. You seriously, look, who wants to come over? And do they not look like the Bay City Rollers? Oh, can we see that on there?
75, he won the FA Youth Cup as well, so it was a couple of months after that.
The Bay City Rollers, look, aren't they? They are the Bay City Rollers. Shang-a-lang. Anyway,
Steve Gardner was my first digs mate. He was back left there.
Well, it says here the close season transfer market was fairly active, but Ipswich Town were not involved. There have been only a few changes in the playing staff, with 5 new apprentice professionals being added. The new faces are defenders David Eyre from Ashington, Russell Osman from Derby, Ian Phillips from Cumnock, midfield player Steve Gardner from Barnsley, and forward Nigel Crouch, who comes from Manningtree. And it mentions here that you were part of the FA Youth Cup winning side. So,
captain actually, against West Ham.
Yeah,
beat him over 2 legs.
Fantastic.
18,000 at Portman Road.
And Crouchy was my best man.
Oh, right, okay.
So, and Ian Phillips was Maxie Phillips.
Maxie Phillips, yeah.
He's a tough left-footed left back.
Why Maxie?
From Scotland, I had no idea. No idea. He was tough as teak, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he
was
kick
solid.
his granny. He was unbelievable. Right up our street.
Did you have any nicknames, Vino, or was it Vino?
No, just Vino, I think. That's all I can remember anyway.
All you're prepared to admit to?
Yeah.
Just before I do the Man v Fat, do you want to tell us about Brannigan's?
No, listen, we, as a group of players, we played hard off the pitch a little bit, I would say, and we probably bumped into a few of these peoples in the town, and
there's some nods in the crowd.
Yeah, I bet there is, and we enjoyed ourselves. I think. I think for me, one of the best parts of being here was we enjoyed ourselves, and we lived and died it with the fans, and that was the best part of it all. That was the best part.
Yeah. Good times. Right.
Was Brannigan's quite close to the ground?
Cardinal Park, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've never been there, but I mean, I heard about it. Yeah.
Not as close as the Sporting Farmer was.
No, not as close as that.
No.
Yeah,
it was
rest in peace.
sensational place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the
I thought at one
Greyhound's
point-
still going, isn't it? The Greyhound was a popular,
Yeah.
I know the ground. I was in
popular
there the other
pub.
night.
That's a town pub.
Friday night, I slipped in there for a pint of Guinness. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good. Very good.
That's good for you, isn't it?
It
Good
is.
job.
It's very
Guinness.
healthy for you.
Brian Clough would have been very proud of you.
Yes, good. Yeah.
Was he a fan of Guinness?
Very much so.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why he was at a red face all the time.
Okay.
Was it from your way, Hartlepool way, Cloughie?
He managed Hartlepool. I think that was his first club, wasn't it?
Yeah,
As a
Northern boy,
he
wasn't
played
he?
for Borad. I'm not sure where he was born.
Kevin Exeter came from there, didn't
John McGovern came from
Yeah.
Hartlepool.
he? Yeah. Talking about Derby players now, for anybody.
Derby. Yeah.
Excellent. Right.
Yeah.
Man v
Great
Fat results. Here we go. No Man v Fat football at Ipswich this week,
Oh.
as most of us are at Portman Road on Friday. So here are the results from the Colchester League. Sevilla.
You can do it. You can do it, Mark. Come on, you can do it.
I've got to do it justice. Sevilla lack a talent. 4. Turkish Delight 7. L'Argentina 10. Porky Blinders 6. Belly Italia 9. Millwall 8. There we are. Those are the scores from the Colchester League.
It's not as exciting as the Ipswich League, is it?
No, well, it's Colchester, isn't it? What do you
Well, there
expect?
we are. Yeah.
That's it for this week. Look, Vino, it's been great to have you on the show. See if you can persuade Mogger to come and join us one week, because we'd love to get him. Or you both on would be great fun to have you both on. And when you speak to him, will you please pass on our best wishes to him?
Yeah, for sure. And thanks to everyone for inviting me as well. It's been great.
Just time for a score prediction, Butch, against Blackburn Rovers.
1-2 to Ipswich.
Okay, good. Thank you. Vino?
2-0 to Ipswich.
Russ?
1-0 to Ipswich.
Okay, I'm going to go in honour of Kevin Beattie, who we lost on this day all those years ago. 3-1. Town on the road. Anyway, have a great week, everybody. We'll be back at the same time next week. We'll be counting down towards the local derby, which won't be far away. But for now, thanks ever so much for watching and listening. And Blue Army! This has been a Life's a Pitch TV production. Main sponsor, DPS Tech. Also supported by Lakens, all about hearing. Seckford Golf Club, Ashford Wright, John Keeble Cars, GDS Builders, Venue 60, The Hudson Group, Come Hither Design, Sound 4 Pro Audio, and Suffolk Sound. Our charities this year: Cancer Support Suffolk, Forget Me Not Golf, and Combat to Coffee.